Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. You're here on Just Blue 360 with Just Blue. And I am excited because it is snack and story time. S and S on S. So snack and story time on Saturday. And that is going to be what I'm going to start doing, releasing story time on Saturday. So, hope everyone is having a great day so far, depending on when you're watching this, and that you will have a great weekend and that you will enjoy our snack and our story time today. This is chapter 5, The Imposter. So we're going to get our snack together, and then we're going to water. And then we're going to transition to the next room. So if you hear noise in the background, neighbors, this is the life of living in an apartment. All right. So let's get our snack going. I have some veggies, cheese, peppers, pepper jack, Kobe jack, peppers, and broccoli. Now I know I washed these. Huh, maybe it was from specks from the cheese, maybe? I don't know. Anywho, so we're going to do half a mango. This is not a mango. Half a avocado. Tell me in the comment section if you all have any favorite sauces and dips that you like to make homemade. Here we go with the mango. It's so funny because the music is actually jamming. Kind of makes you want to start dancing. Anyway, so we've got that cleared out. So this week has been mostly raw week. But as you'll see in a minute, I got some spinach dip before I chose to do raw week. And spinach artichoke dip. Lemon juice. This is half a lemon. So we did half an avocado, half a lemon, half a mango. This is too adorable. And if you want to know where I got it, Burlington. Got that from Burlington. All right. We're going to add a pinch of salt. This is 1 full turn. Some very garlic. Just a little bit. And some smoked paprika. Right. We're going to add a pinch of almond milk, just a pinch. This is gonna be some work because we're going to taste this first. All right, here's your warning to turn your volumes down. We're not changing anything. Half a mango, half an avocado, half a squeezed lemon, a splash of milk, a pinch of salt, a little bit of very garlic seasoning, and a little bit of smoked paprika. Oh, and it's smoked paprika, chili, garlic, and chives blend. Also from Burlington. My. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that'll be the next topic. Some of you watching my channel know why I said that. All right. Let's stuff some peppers. That spinach dip I was telling you about. So we're just putting some spinach dip in our peppers. It's amazing how it can be quiet. It can be quiet all day. And the minute you get ready to record, sure there's a better way to do this, like if I would have split them open. right, we're gonna go into a room where it's a little more quieter. Maybe. All right, so we have our snack. We have our V8 splash. I'm gonna take these into the other room and I'll be right back to get you all. Alrighty. Hello. So, hopefully you now have your snack. And we are ready to continue this video. Okay, there we go. All right. So, if you are new to this channel and just a second. If you're new to this channel and you have not seen my description of what the channel is about, it is literally about the title, Just Blue 360. It's just me being me, sharing my life stories with you all with the hopes of helping someone else that might be experiencing what I've experienced. And what I've done is written down what I want to say, only for the purpose of helping to keep me on track, so that this does not turn out to be a 60-minute story time. As always, comment, like, share. I say share more than subscribe, because the whole point of this is for other people to be helped, right? The subscription, great, but it's for other people to be helped. So share. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Sweet peppers are so amazing. So, chapter 5, Imposter. I would probably never be a good mukbanger. because I'm so worried about getting stuff stuck in my mouth or the video being too extended. All right, here we go. We're at that 15-minute mark, so that's my time to get started. When you see the title, put in the comments how many of you came in thinking that when you saw the title imposter, that I would be talking about someone else. Someone else that was an imposter. Well, you're wrong. Because this channel is about Just Blue 360. And no matter what story I share, I rarely am talking about someone else. Excuse me, if you saw my last chapter, I was talking about rejection, the person that rejected me the most. And in my opinion, people may have come to watch that. I'm not sure if I put me or if I just put rejection, the one that did it the most. But our natural thing as humans is to come and see, ooh, who rejected him? Who rejected her, right? No, it's about me. I rejected me the most. If you have not watched chapter 1 through 4, you do not have to watch it to understand this chapter. There will be times where I will say chapter blah is coming out, so go watch chapter blah. But this is not one of those times. So let's get into imposter. Under imposter syndrome, say imposter syndrome is the umbrella. Under imposter syndrome are many different things. One of them is the fear of failing, and I'm going to attempt the word, atachophobia, and the fear of success, the fear of succeeding, which is achievemophobia. Fear of failing and fear of succeeding. Let's get into it. The year that I was set to graduate college, I had a professor, shout out to Black Shira. She is also a subscriber. But I had a professor who, you know how you have people that are more than just what they are, right? They're more than just an educator. They're invested in their students. And she was invested in me. She taught my human service classes. And the year of graduation, I was so hesitant about graduating. No, I wasn't hesitant about graduating. Let me tell you how I felt in that moment. In that moment, I was coming up with easy excuses. And one of them was, it's no big deal. I'll just graduate a different year. I'll just graduate next year instead of this year. And she asked me one day while we were discussing the particular class that I was telling her was no big deal about me not being able to take the class. I'll just do it, blah, blah, blah. She asked me a question. She said, "Are you afraid to graduate?" Are you afraid to graduate? And because of who she is, I totally respected what she said. But I'd be a liar if I sat here and said I liked it. I did not like being questioned about something that I had worked so hard for. It is because of her realness and her honesty that we've become friends. And so to you, thank you. But she asked me if I was afraid to graduate. And at the time, I was caught in feelings and emotions, and I really didn't understand what she was asking. But after graduation, months after graduation, May 2022, it dawned on me that not only was she asking for a reason, but it was more valid than I thought it was. Here's why. I wasn't afraid to graduate. I wanted it. But at the time, I didn't realize that I was afraid of what came after. What if I cross this stage and I graduate and then I fail at everything? The fear of failure. The fear of failure. I didn't know what success was. My idea of success. I spent years trying to succeed the way everyone else thought I should. I spent years doing what everyone else thought I should do. I spent years saying what everyone else thought I should say. And if you came to me and said, "What's your idea of success?" I have no answer. I had no answer. I was an imposter. The way that I wrote this down and the way that it's in my head now is different. So I'm going to go with the flow because these notes are what I wanted to say. And now that I'm with you, it's coming out different, and that's okay. There are a couple situations where I felt like an imposter, where I felt inadequacy, where I felt inferior. During my internship, I felt out of place. I interned at an elementary school. And what I thought I was going to be doing, I didn't end up doing. I ended up interning like in a classroom, like as an aide, which really wasn't along the lines of my human service degree, but I still got a lot out of it. But there were times where I would have to go into meetings where they did sit down and deal more with like human surface stuff. I would sit in meetings with truant officers. I would sit in meetings with other teachers and paraprofessionals and social workers, discussing new techniques and tactics and different things for the school as a whole and for individual classrooms. And I felt out of place. I don't belong here. I wonder what other people are saying about me as I sit here and look like a fish out of water. I just didn't feel like I belonged. I was playing a role that I thought I was supposed to play. I remember after one meeting, they said, hey, you know, we're going out to lunch because we're taking a break and we're going out to lunch, and you come with us. Come with us. Leave your car and just ride with one of us. And I was like, no, I really, you know, packed a great lunch and I really want to go enjoy it. But thanks anyway. And then I would go to my car. And, you know, over a span of 40 minutes, I would cry and smoke cigarettes and never touch the food that I brought. And then I would spray myself down and get my face together and walk back in there like, oh yeah, and didn't have a clue. And probably had a clue, but the feeling of being out of place in that moment outweighed everything. Outweighed everything. Faking my way through, putting up a facade, and then looking in the mirror and saying these exact words. Who the hell are you? That's what I said. Looking at myself, who the hell are you? Imposter. I didn't know me. I deluded me. I compared myself because I thought I had to. Feelings again of being inferior, inadequate. I emotionally and mentally sabotaged myself through the way I spoke about myself and the way I continued to rely on what others said. And sometimes others weren't saying a word. They weren't verbally saying a word. They weren't non-verbally saying a word. None of that, but it was in here. Emotionally and mentally sabotaging myself. I remember even times where I would be around family, educated people in my family, you know, specialist at this and specialist at that. And you know, there was one specific time where I have a family member who is in the field of psychology. And at this point, I think psychiatry. And I thought he might be able to read me. So I kept my distance. Later, having to reach out to him and explain to him what I had done. Not because he thought it was an issue. I don't know if he thought it was an issue, but I thought it was an issue. So I hit him up and I said, hey, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I thought that was the beginning stages of me becoming comfortable with myself. I was knocking at that door, but I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. And there were several more times when I experienced stuff like that. it could be sitting in a church with, you know, other people that I thought were on a higher level than me. Because some places, you're taught that there, you know, that there's different levels of Christianity and hoopity hoopla. But I spent a lot of time. This is not okay. I spent a lot of time faking the funk. Imposter. And all the while, I was good enough to be in those meetings. All the while, I was good enough to hold a conversation with educated people in my family. I was good enough to sit among prophets and prophetesses and ministers and musicians. I was good enough. I didn't know it. I didn't have to be an imposter. I didn't have to put on a role because I was afraid of what others would say. I didn't have to fake anything. I didn't have to be afraid of failing at something. I didn't have to be afraid of what came after graduation. I didn't have to be afraid of success. Fear based off what someone else said it meant. Fear of not succeeding. Fear of succeeding and it not being enough. It's not just failure to succeed, failure to fear and failure to succeed in one definition. It's an open, it's different for each individual. It's not just the way that the social work handbook says it. It's not just the way that the school books say it. Fear of failing and fear of success is huge. And I lived that life for years. For years. Imposter. And I have to say it that way, that one definition doesn't fit everybody, because people will say, well, you know, that's really not how that's supposed to be meant. That's really not how that's supposed to be understood. That's really not the meaning of that. That's really not, you know. And I was the one saying it. Other people will say it, but even on this current platform, but I was the one saying it to myself, second guessing myself, feeling like I had something to add, but then not adding it because I didn't think. Because I gave a crap more about what they were going to say. They, them, she, him, whatever. And not about myself. But I didn't know. I didn't know what success looked like to me. Now there's stuff that I think I'm failing at, and other people are like, I had to start getting out of my comfort zone. After graduation, a year after graduation, the same educator, the same professor asked me to come back and speak to the graduating class of 2023. And I was like, I don't do that. I don't do. And there were people there, educators, professors, deans, members of the board. And I was like, but I could do it. And I did do it. And I did a darn good job. There is times when it's okay to pat yourself on the back. I did a darn good job. I think I said this story in another video. But I stepped out of my comfort zone. 25 years ago, you couldn't even approach me and ask me to speak in front of anybody. Yes, I'm a PK, so I grew up in church, singing, teaching Sunday school, being in plays, blah, 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 hoopity hoopla. But my adult self, when I gave that speech at the school this past May, I was so empowered. I was there to encourage others, and I got encouraged. I was no longer an imposter. I wrote my own speech. Well, I was led by who I believe God to be. And I killed it. And I didn't need validation anymore. And I didn't need affirmation from anyone else anymore. You know, shortly before that, I had done another speech in church, but I don't know. That was just different. Doing things in front of people at church and doing things in front of people in a different setting is just different for me. But I was no longer an imposter. I no longer felt like I had something to prove. I no longer needed validation. Excuse me. I was no longer worried about failing. What if I do this and then I fail? I'm no longer concerned about failure to succeed, fear to succeed, fear to fail, fear of failing, fear of succeeding, fear of not succeeding. So how did I get to that point? This video is going over. Okay. How did I get through? There were a couple of things I had to do, and I'm going to leave you with this. I had to identify the root cause of the issue. I had to identify the root cause of the issue. There was a reason I felt. There's a reason I had fear of failure or the outcome of. There was a reason I had a fear of not succeeding or succeeding or a fear of the outcome of. And I had to get to the root cause of that, and I did. With help. With lots of help. With lots of help. I got to the root cause. With lots of help outside of church help. Okay? Stick a pin in it right here. It is okay to go get a therapist. It is okay to go see a psychologist. It is okay to go see a psychiatrist. It is okay to get self-help material. It is okay to listen to meditation and different things that will help you. Like I said in the last video, if you're doing it and it works for you, keep doing it. Second, I made a conscious decision to practice self-care. I made a conscious decision to practice self-care. Vision board 2022. We talk about this vision board in an earlier video, in the smoothie affirmation video from Friday. I made a conscious decision to practice self-care. I decided to be truthful about me to me. Being truthful about me to me. No more, you're not skilled to sit with them. No more, you don't have a degree. You're not good enough to join that conversation. Come on. No more, your associate's degree doesn't compare, so you can't sit at that table. Do you know? Well, of course you don't know, but I'm telling you. So growing up, there was like the adult table and then the kid table, right? Do you know, in my 40s, I still felt more comfortable sitting at the table with my adult and teenage nieces and nephew than I did sitting at the table with people my age and older. Yeah. So when I say this has been happening for a long time, I'm 43. It literally has just been in the past couple of years that things begin to turn, that the wheels on the bus go round and round, that just began over the past 4 years and have just taken off over the past year and a half. Oh, I'm good. I was sitting here. Imposter. So 1, I identified the root cause. 2, I made a conscious decision to practice self-care. I decided to be truthful about me to me. And whether anybody else thought it was truthful, whether anybody else believed it, no longer mattered. Because I finally understood what failure meant to me. I finally understood what success meant to me. I finally understood that what I thought I was failing at all these years, I really was never failing at all. I thought all these things that I was being unsuccessful at after all these years really wasn't being unsuccessful at all. I turned 40 something and I started growing up. Come on here, somebody. I started to experiment and push myself to new limits and deeper depths. I stepped out of my comfort zone. I started pushing myself to new limits and deeper depths. I stepped out of the comfort zone. And in that comfort zone, I started to lose the weight of others. I stopped trying to convince others, right? I'm trying to convince others because I need validation. I'm trying to convince others because I need to be affirmed. I'm trying to convince others because when I look in the mirror, I don't know who the hell I am. And I need them to tell me. I started showing up as me. And that's what happened in the motivation and encouragement that I was able to give this past May. I showed up as me. And Just me. Listen, just me. Not a version of who somebody thought I should be. Not a version of who I created in my teens. Not a version of who I created when I got kicked out of college 18, 19. Not a version of who I created in my first marriage. Not a version of who I created in my 20s. Not a version of who I created in my 30s, but just me. I showed up in May as a 43-year-old me. Was I nervous? Do I still get nervous? Yeah. And that's natural. And it's me. And it's okay. So I started showing up as myself. I wrote something down. I stopped trying to convince others and started to show up just as I am. That was the phrase. Just as I am. No more validation needed. No more approval needed. No more applause needed. No more being an imposter. No more being an imposter. No more fear of failing. I'm going to end with an affirmation. This video is way longer than I wanted. I might shorten this video into two. I might start one video at story time and do the other video, post it separately, making my dip, making my snack. I'm gonna do that so that you guys don't have to sit through and watch the full thing. Well, also, I can put in the description that story time starts at, and then you can fast forward. So we'll see. Anyway, I no longer have a fear of succeeding or not succeeding. I no longer have a fear of failing. Come what may, we're going to be all right. Come what may, we're going to be all right. And I want to say this, thank you to, because out of 77 subscribers, I probably only know less than 15 of who they are. So for those of you that are watching this and you have subscribed privately, or you're not subscribed, but you're still watching, because I know you're out there somewhere. I watch people all the time that I don't subscribe to. Thank you for all of you that had a hand in me being who I am today. Whether you had a hand where you did something evil that was meant for good, because you're out there, or whether you did something positive that was meant for positive and you thought positive wasn't going to come out of it, your girl's doing great things. So thank you. Seriously. Because we don't get places by ourselves. Say it again. We don't get places by ourselves. Here's your affirmation. For this video, there are 2 affirmations already out. There are 2 smoothie and affirmation videos already out. They both coincide with story time. This is the last affirmation for story time, chapter 5. I admit that I have hidden myself, my potential, my talents, my strength. I've hidden it out of fear of failing. Today, I am ready to step into the unknown and the unfamiliar. I am no longer afraid to be uncomfortable. And no one, including myself, can convince me otherwise. I am optimistic. If you have enjoyed this story time and you're enjoying this content on Just Blue 360, please comment, like, share, subscribe. Like means you push the thumbs up. It says like, dislike, push one of those. Not just liking stuff within the comment section, but the like and dislike button that's before you get to the comment section. I don't see that pushed very often. Comment, like, share, subscribe. I reply to all comments. I subscribe back to people that subscribe to me if I know about it. And I am confident and I am optimistic that if you viewed this entire video, you got something out of it. If you viewed a portion of it, you got something out of it. If you watch it and come back to it later, you've got something out of it. In that, I am confident. I thank you for spending this time with me. Oh, that's good. And have a great weekend until our paths cross again. Love unapologetically. Be kind intentionally. And be you authentically. Be well.